We're back in the Gunners Club.
We are, and you're here with us. You're here with Gunnar and, of course, with Susan. How are you all doing? Now, I understand in the States you're eating rather a lot of Krispy Kreme donuts at the moment. You had this monster promotion where I understand if you bought a dozen, you could get the next dozen, I think, for 13 cents. 13 cents for a second dozen. Well, we don't have that benefit in Australia, but I've come and picked some up, and there's a reason for this. So this whole promotion, I understand, was to do with, that fated day, Friday the 13th.
Oh, okay, yes.
So you can understand that. And some people have got a paranoia about the number 13, or especially when it's coupled together with Friday. So I had a bit of a think about it. What is it that makes people have this unreasonable fear of Friday the 13th? Well, it's funny, when you come up with an idea, you can eventually get other things to anchor to that idea and try to justify what it is you're talking about.
Well, didn't that originate with horror movies or something?
Well, it's quite possible in our modern Western mind that that's the case, but some people take it back before then to the 1300s, when on Friday the 13th, King Philip IV of France basically arrested scores of the Knights Templar. Quite a few crimes. There was a blasphemy, heresy, sacrilege, and homosexuality. Now,
so all the good things.
well, today, even one of those accusations would be enough to get you on the front bench
Yeah.
of Parliament.
Most definitely.
There's been another number of things historically that have fallen on Friday the 13th. So it's believed that the day of crucifixion for Christ was in fact Friday the 13th.
I never knew that.
Well, if you have a look as well at the Last Supper, who was the 13th and uninvited or unwelcome guest there?
Oh, yes. Okay.
Judas Iscariot.
Yeah.
Going back to the feast at Valhalla, the 13th and uninvited guest was Loki. You might remember Loki. He was sort of the trickster.
Yeah.
He's famous now in Marvel films and things like that.
That's right.
And he managed to provoke a
He
fight.
was the puny god, according to Hulk.
Oh, I like that. Well, he managed to provoke a fight, and one of the sons of Odin killed another son of Odin, and it was with a mistletoe arrow, and that was provoked through Loki. So a number of things have happened on Fridays and Fridays the 13th, and in our language today, there's actually a word for it: a fear of Friday the 13th.
Yeah, there's a whole superstition grown up around it, isn't there?
There is, so we'd say Periskophi Thekatrias Phobos. It's a fear of Friday the 13th. There's actually a technical term for it.
Hey, today's the unluckiest day of the year, Friday the 13th. Or is it? Today's date has been considered cursed since biblical times But why, Kylie, why?
Well, I'm going to tell you.
Thanks.
It dates back to the Last Supper. It's believed that there were 13 people present on the night before Jesus' death, which occurred on a Friday. Now, centuries later, the negative connotations remain. So much so, psychologists even have a word for those who suffer from fear of Friday the 13th.
What's that word?
It's called parascavide catreophobia.
But for me, I remember the monsters living at 1313
Mockingbird Lane.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That was actually quite a good movie. Series, that's right. Yeah.
You know, it's a funny thing, but Friday the 13th actually costs the modern economy tens of millions of dollars per year.
Costs.
So people refuse to get married on Friday the 13th. People refuse to take long travels on Friday the 13th.
You see, that never occurred to me, but I can see how that would be the case.
And when was the last time you went to, let's say, a high-rise hotel and discovered a 13th floor?
But don't they actually save money there? Because there is no 13th floor. So they're saving money there by building a floor.
That's a conundrum, isn't it? There's a few things we can think about there. Some people say that houses that have the number 13 in the address sell for less.
Is that right?
You'd assume then that you would purchase it for less as well.
Yeah.
But it's got a lower economic value. You see, that's tied up in the Western mind, this value we've ascribed to number 13, whereas in, let's say, the Eastern mind, it's a number 4, which is associated with death.
Okay.
But I mean,
well, in the very same way that the Chinese, for example, they associate number 8 with wealth and luck and so on.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
At New Year in Australia, you just try to go past a lotto store without the number 8 shining everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, for the bingo, 88, 2 fat ladies. It's got meaning as well. So number 13, I mean, it's thought to be imperfect. You think about it, we operate now on the base 10 because we've got 10 digits. I understand that alone and naked you can count to the number 21.
Correct, yes, that's right. Fingers, toes and an
That's
extra
right.
digit.
Really trying, you've once reached 23.
Yeah.
But some cultures use the base 12, and that makes sense because 12 is such a great number for dividing things. You have a pizza pie, you cut it into 12 pieces, you can serve 12 people equally. You have 2 people, they get 6 each. 3 people get 4 each, 4 people get 3 each, 2 people get 6, etc. It's so easy to divide. And it's no accident that your wristwatches and your clocks are still based off that base 12. And as well for sailing as well, you've got things divided up as well into the base 12 as well. So it was thought to be a perfect sort of number. We've got 12 star signs in the zodiac. We've got 12 months in a year. There were the 12 disciples. So it was really thought for all of these mathematical and historical reasons to be perfect. And so we go to 13 and say, not quite right, doesn't really work. And some people got a fear of, I think, just odd numbers as well. Or odd people.
I was good. That first thing that came to mind is odd people.
But I tell you what, enough of this. Why don't you
wow.
try one of these? Now, Christy's told me she's having a pink one. Well, I'm going the chocolate. And I hope in America you've enjoyed your Friday the 13th as well. Like and subscribe and what to do. We'll see you on the next one.
At the very least. Oh, look. Do we get a discount for the hole?
If you don't like the holes, just push them to the side of your plate.
That's a good idea. Catch you on the next one.